Fun Friday coaching. This is all about how just $1 could eventually allow you to afford to buy the Empire State Building. It's actually a metaphor for an actual physics scientific experiment done on dominoes. They found that one domino could actually knock over a domino 50% larger than the first domino's size. And because this would occur exponentially, that first domino can knock over a domino one and a half times bigger than it. The next one knocks over another one that's 50% bigger than it. And as that continues, by the 23rd domino, you can knock over the Eiffel Tower. And by the 29th domino, you can knock over the Empire State Building. So we're going to use that same exact physics that was reported in the American Journal of Physics in the 80s. We're going to use that same principle with money. Because $1, when it's put to work, because it then becomes 8% larger, over time, just like those dominoes, down the road, you would have enough money to buy something enormous. You would have millions of dollars. And I've had the immense opportunity and challenge to work with people that come to me every week. I mean, there's not a week goes by and somebody who is 50 or 60 or 70 has come to me and said, I didn't save those dollars and now I'm stuck. And that's always a really painful point, to talk to somebody who, they just haven't had that great life. They haven't taken the amazing vacations. They don't have the money to retire or relax or do something they love, and they have to stick to the grind. And often, just because of the changes in economic factors and time, they're either just not doing great at their current job, or they're out of a job, or they've been retired or pushed out of their work, and they're stuck. And I don't want that to be you. Even though we have options for those people, and I help a lot of them still create a great life. There's many people who created all their wealth after 50. So it's not a problem if you're there. We can get there. But here's what I'd rather have you do. If you're younger, if you're before 50, I'd rather have you be a multimillionaire by that point and not stuck by that point. Jim Rohn, who was an early mentor of mine, he's passed on. He actually was Anthony Robbins' mentor early on. And he talked about the same thing. When mom or dad gets to this point where the kids are a little bit older, and they're a little bit older, and the kids wonder why all of a sudden we can't take the vacation, why the kids don't have money for college, why there's nothing there as a legacy for those kids to maybe start a family or start their life. You didn't leave anything behind for the children. And Jim Rohn said the problem is they smoked it. They got rid of the money. They blew it. And so there's one thing I want to share with you today that's your takeaway from today's Facebook Live. And this is what I've heard first from every major wealth manager I've ever talked to. It started with maybe 20 years ago. I had the chance to sit down with the boyfriend of a client of mine who managed Bill Gates' money. And so I said, okay, well, I'm dealing with all these doctors and all these other entrepreneurs. What should I say to them about becoming wealthy and what you do in managing Bill Gates' money? And he said something that I've now heard over and over again from all the top wealth managers that I've met with or interviewed. And that's manage consumption. Everybody can be rich at a young age, or at the very least retire a millionaire, no matter what your job is, if you manage consumption. So bringing up Anthony Robbins again, if you've read his kind of recent books and listened to any of his podcasts on money, he talks about just how your financial advisor alone, based on the fees, based on 3% or 5% that you end up losing in fees, that alone is enough to not allow you to retire. He talks about the story of where are the client's boats. So when you go out to meet with your financial advisor, those companies have the big giant yachts that are docked by Atlantis, but the clients don't have those same boats because the clients can't buy the boats because those fees, the consumption of 2 and 3% of that client's money cost them their big boat and their retirement. So something like just even the fees that go behind the money that you're investing in. You got fees like just your interest on your car, your house, all these places you're losing money in fees. So I want to talk about that piece of consumption for a second, because in business, It's the little things. In your life, it's the little things. In my first practice, I was surprised by the fact that my profits went flat. I had been in practice a couple of years. The numbers were growing, but the profits were flat. And so I looked into what we were spending, and I expected to find, wow, how did we end up spending $8,000 here and $10,000 there and $1,000 and $2,000? But what I found instead were all these bills for 50 cents, $1, $2, $3, all under $5, but multiplied by dozens and dozens. And this added up to tens of thousands of dollars going out in costs or fees. Now realizing 100% of what you don't spend in overhead goes in your pocket. So if you make money, let's say you make $10,000, some percentage of that is gone based on overhead. You only make a percentage of your $10,000. Some organizations make 60 or 70% of that $10,000. Some only make 5, 10, or 20% of that $10,000. So you don't keep everything you make, but you do keep everything you save. And so I started looking at what was costing us $10,000, $20,000 a month in 50 cents, $2, under $5 at a time, began to pay attention to that consumption, and all of a sudden started putting a lot more money in my pocket. And all of that is leading to this, back to that domino effect, back to $1 equaling an eventual purchase of the Empire State Building, that as you save those pennies and you put them away, it adds up. So the average person today, I just was actually listening to a story yesterday on a podcast related to how few people can retire in any sort of positive way. People reach, again, 50, 60, 70, the ones that are coming to me all the time, and they don't have any money. They don't have the ability to have choices and enjoy the latter part of their life. But what's crazy is this, that it doesn't take much to become a millionaire when you're managing consumption, you're looking at the overhead and putting your pennies away. So in the idea of the law of physics, when it comes to one domino at a time, just so you realize that if you save $5,000 a year, that's it, $5,000 a year, virtually every job can save $5,000 a year. And most wealth managers would tell you the same thing. No matter where you are in your life right now, there's a way to put away $5,000 every single year. It's not a lot of money. It's a little more than $400 a month. Plenty of ways to do it. That in 40 years, you're a millionaire. So throughout your work life, if you just put away $5,000 a year, you retire a millionaire. Again, why do so many people not retire a millionaire? In fact, most people don't retire a millionaire. Just like Jim Rohn said, they smoked it. Now, if you saved $500 a month, so this is just some research I did this morning. By research, I mean, of course, I Googled it. If you save $500 a month, which anybody can do, you're a millionaire in 29 years. A millionaire in just 29 years from right now by just putting away $500 a month. Again, very few people become a millionaire, as easy as that sounds, because they don't put it away, they smoke it. Few last tips. Here's where you don't skimp. You don't skimp on your health. You might think you're saving money by not going to the chiropractor, by not buying your supplements, or not investing in healthy food, or not belonging to the gym. You might think you're saving money, and you're not. You're simply robbing Peter to pay Paul. You will spend way more later in the cost of sickness and disease and the inability to produce income than you're saving right now in those areas. Don't buy ramen noodles and skip the gym and quit your chiropractor. The other thing is, don't save on the things you enjoy. We're not talking about suffering through your entire life just to enjoy retirement. So I'm doing this Facebook Live a little earlier than normal because we're going to the beach again. We're vacationing away half the summer because, listen, I'm 50 and I know that your kids grow quickly and time moves fast, and you want to have made sure to have slowed down and stopped and put that time in with your family. Nothing is better than that. I don't want to regret having missed a moment with my kids away somewhere, away from the madness, to focus on their lives and my time with them. Because again, nobody, even though few people retire millionaires, many who do look back and say, boy, I wish I would have gave up a few bucks to spend the time with my family. So here's what we're talking about. It's a combination of things. Addressing consumption, again, the number one rule of wealth management, addressing consumption, but also maximizing your investable income. That's what we're looking for. Limit consumption, save the pennies, use the law of physics where $1 eventually buys you the Empire State Building, but then also working on your multiple streams of income, your ways of producing wealth, so we're putting a maximum amount away. Because if in 29 years you could become a millionaire just putting $500 a month away, imagine what can happen if that's $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 a month, or even $2,000 or $3,000 a month. And that's, of course, our goal with 0 to $1 million in 1 year. Bless you in your mission-based business. Enjoy your life, and remember who you are.